So you want to learn how to draw a nice charcoal portrait. Start off by drawing a circle, add a midline for where the eyes will be, and add 3 lines for the brows, bottom of the nose, and chin. Next up, add some structure of the skull, then add some more structural details. Fill in the shadow area with the side of the charcoal, darken the edges of the shadows, blend with a soft brush, find the shadow shapes again and darken them, add a highlight with the needed eraser. Small tidy ups and you're done. How to draw a charcoal portrait in 20 seconds. Draw a center line, and then 3 lines for the eyes, nose and chin. Add some structure of the skull, fill in the shadow shapes, darken the shadows, cover everything in charcoal, blend, find the details again, add highlights, more blending, refine edges, and you're done. How to draw the back. Start with a circle for the head, loose lines for the spine, shoulders, hips and limbs. Next add some contour lines, then add the shadow shapes. Fill them in. Soften the edges of form shadows. Darken the core shadows. Add some highlights, little tidy ups, and you're done. How to draw a figure in 30 seconds. Start with an oval for the head, then a line for the slope of the shoulders and for the hips. Add the sides of the torso, suggest the curve of the legs. Little line for the chesticles, give the limbs more shape. Add some more structure and musculature. Block in the shadows, blend everything, find the details again. More blending, add highlights, refine edges. Now you have a figure that's slapping a bit smart. How to draw a male portrait. Start with a basic shape of a skull and a mask for the face. Midline for the eyes, brow line and nose. Oops, make the head bigger. Now add the lips and chin, add shadow shapes, cover everything in charcoal. Blend, find the details again, add highlights, more blending, refine edges, and you're done. How to draw a female body. Begin with a line for the shoulders, then a curve for the spine, an opposing line for the hips, then the third line for the sternum. Curves for the hips, suggest the rib cage and shoulders. Next add some landmarks, block in shadows and negative space, hatch over everything, blend. Add highlights, soften edges, darken shadows, and you're done. How to draw a portrait of your inspiration. Start with the shape of the skull, add a few structural landmarks, correcting as you go along. More details, add tone, blend, find the details again, add highlights, realize who this is. Thank you. How to draw Wednesday, explained in 27 seconds. Start with an egg for the head, midline for the eyes, center line for symmetry. Next add the brows, dots for the eyes, nose and lips. Drawing these with shadow shapes, add the bangs and clothing, and cover everything in charcoal, blend, find details again, refine edges, add highlights, little tidy ups, finally some context. How to draw lips. Begin with a small donut, then a wide M for the upper lip, then a thick line for the lower lip. The upper lip will usually be in shadow, so you can make it darker. The deepest shadows will be in the corners of the mouth and in the middle. Then blend everything, add juicy highlights, and put them in context. How to draw the figure. Start with a circle for the head, 2 curves for the torso, big curves for the hips, gestural lines for the legs. Don't forget the cheeks. Loose lines to finish the limbs. Using the side of the charcoal, add some tone in the shadow areas. Blend. Now find the contours and add details. More shadows, more blending, add highlights, and you have an expressive figure. I start by drawing generic guidelines for the face, based on the Loomis method. Then I begin defining some of the features with some dark tones. Block in the infamous bangs, add midtones, soften some of the edges using the blend tool, fix the width of the head using a liquefier. From this point onwards, it's just a question of refining edges. I'm using only 1 layer and 2 brushes. And both the brushes are based on the default soft brush with very minor tweaks. And the reason I'm not playing around with multiple layers and different lighting effects and all manner of digital trickery is because I'm basically using this exactly like I would use oil paint or even charcoal.